We have a really special guest today. This is Jill Dailey of the Dailey Method, and the Dailey Method and Jill Dailey are institutions in the Bay Area for women's health and fitness. She's been here since 2000 in the Bay Area, supporting lots and lots of women achieve their wellness goals and to stay in their healthiest bodies and healthiest minds. And we're so excited to have her wisdom here. Hi, Jill. Thanks for being here.
Excited to be here.
Yeah. So can you tell us, our audience, a little bit about just why the Dailey Method, like why you decided to? Jill went to the University of Colorado and studied kinesiology and exercise physiology. And when you take one of her Dailey Method classes, you know that it's based in science. It's like literally every single muscle fiber is activated or worked out over the course of the exercise. So can you just tell us a little bit about how you went from studying to creating your own incredible situation for women?
Well, I've always been fascinated with the body, and hence why I decided to study kinesiology. And when I graduated, I started teaching Pilates and personal training. And then I ran into this method called Lottie Burke, which was barre. And I was like, it was the most amazing thing. Like, I never been so sore, but so sore in a way that I felt like my entire body was sore in a good way. Like, I just worked everything. And so I decided in 2000 to open up my own studio just to be able to offer it to a wider audience, because I was doing mostly one-on-ones at that time. And throughout that, the last 23 years, I've really focused on alignment and engagement, foundation, alignment, and engagement for people's bodies. And so it's evolved over the years. It's still very similar, but like the way we really set people up, it's like you set yourself up so that your feet are hip distance apart. So your feet are parallel. So you're trying to like really actually align your bones in the way that our bodies are supposed to be aligned, and then engaging the muscles around that and then working. So you're exercising, but you're exercising in a way that translates to what you're doing in life and really helps you stay strong for everything you do. One of the things we focus a lot on is the back body, because so much of what we do is frontal. We're looking at our phones, we're walking, this, and like a lot of people don't even know what the backside of themselves looks like, so, but you have to strengthen that. And especially for aging bodies, and for like, if to not have that strength in the back of the body. That's like my mom, God bless her. I just went and visited her a couple weeks ago, and my mom used to be here and she is here.
Wow.
Like the amount of bone loss that she has, but it's also postural, because it's like she stands like this. Like, it's like that doesn't have to happen. You don't have to have all that bone loss. If you really focus on strengthening your bodies, you can offset osteoporosis and offset that like frontal posture.
So I fixed my feet and now I'm leaning back. Okay, I feel better here.
Jill, did you have a history in ballet, a background in ballet?
I had a background in dance. It wasn't necessarily ballet. I took a lot of ballet classes, but I was fortunate in my high school. We had an amazing dance program. So, I mean, we did jazz, ballet, modern, African, like everything. And I, continued that through college.
Yeah. So
I still continue it on the dance floor.
You do. You're a really good dancer. And you don't need a dance background at all, but those of us that have had dance backgrounds, when you go to a Dailey Method class or a barre class, like you just see, I mean, the through line is so intense. And I just went to the San Francisco Ballet 2 weekends ago, and oh my God, those machines, the way that those machines work and what they can do. And other than the like pretty intense eating problems that come with ballet, but like the lines in the machine, what the body does, and the musculature and definition of every muscle. And like, that's a lot how it feels when you're in a Dailey Method class, that you're,
we really do target every muscle, and we like very intentionally have our classes formatted to make sure that we are giving equal attention to front body, back body, quadriceps, hamstrings, in not just a strengthening, but also in a stretching and range of motion. Like the spine has to work in all these different ranges of motion in order to have a really healthy spine. So we focus on that in every class too.
Can I ask you about that back body thing? Because we have a lot of women listening to this and women patients and people about to get pregnant. And so there is that forward pull in pregnancy. So how important is it to strengthen your back before that happens?
I mean, you should strengthen your back before it happens, but if it's already happening, just strengthen your back now. I mean, I've had pregnant women come in that they haven't been exercising, and they come in and they start taking a class while they're pregnant. And it's great. You're doing something. And, we have to give them some modifications, but it's like they're going to feel so much better after they have the baby if they've been doing something during. They're going to recover easier. They're not going to get the aches and pains. They're probably going to deliver easier. I mean, it's
a great workout. I've been doing Dailey Method. Oh my God, not enough in the last couple of years, but Jill she's always run retreats. And so we used to go down into Mexico and do these retreats and in the beautiful outdoor palapa. And I have always done a lot of more cardio and whatever exercise. And the Dailey Method classes are some of the it's not hard, scary hard, but it's thoughtful hard, where you're just in a deep burn. And I remember from ballet, I did a lot of ballet, my tendency was to always sort of cheat when the teacher turned away, to stop, oh my God, I can't, it's so hard. And that's my tendency in the Dailey Method. If Jill's on, I'm wow, it's so intense when you're using your muscles. It doesn't look it's not F45 or CrossFit where people are aggressive. It's this subtle, quiet, but really challenging full body workout where afterwards you leave and you're well, I literally did something for everything. It was so hard, but from the outside, it might not have looked that hard. It's all this subtle movement and behavior, movement in your body.
And I think a lot of it is the alignment, the alignment cues that we give you. We don't allow you to start thinking about the grocery list that you have for when you drive away. You have to stay really present with your body and with your muscles. And is what makes it harder, because it's if you're using your brain while you're using your muscle, you're working your muscle harder. If you're thinking about something else, you don't have to work as hard.
So can you talk about stress as far as what that does for stress levels? Because I think that's a huge piece of this.
I mean, the only reason I'm here today on this planet is because I exercise to reduce my stress. It's very, very important. It's the one thing that it's when I'm going, I am having some challenges right now. And if I don't exercise, I just spin out. If I exercise, I can stay focused on my task and what I need to do.
But that. What if you're listening? What if you're talking to someone, a person's listening who it's the thing that drops off when they don't have time is exercise? Can you talk to that person?
You got to prioritize it. And it doesn't have to be an hour Dailey Method class. It can be put on your sunglasses and go walk around the block, go do something that is just moving your body. Hold on to your countertop and do some squats and just move it, because it's getting that blood flowing and giving that attention and that focus for yourself too can help relieve stress, because usually when we're so stressed, we're so out here, right? And we're not in here. And doing something that allows you to just focus on your body, focus on yourself, or enjoy the outside air is going to make you feel better.
Yeah, there's something really important to blood flow that I think we forget, right? That if you're stagnant and you're not actually moving your body, even if you're so tired, then your blood kind of pools a little bit and you get kind of swollen ankles and everything's not pumping properly and your blood kind of thickens. So it's a real health issue as far as looking at aging. Everyone who ages well moves every day. They just move. It doesn't have to be totally crazy, but it has to be, because you cannot sit all day. And that's what a lot of people do. And then they feel so tired, they come home and get on the sofa, right? It's the one thing that I think if you got it, if you get that going, it really even when I'm so tired and I don't want to do anything, my dogs make me go walk, right?
Yeah.
Well,
They-
the thing about the Dailey method specifically is that, like I said, it doesn't look from the outside like a tremendous exertion, but it's after you walk out, when you have challenged each core muscle group in a way that like you don't always do when you're walking, or you don't this is what it is when you're doing like muscle work and weight work. And the Dailey method use some weights, but a lot of it's using your own force, your own body weight as weight, like whether you're using plank or doing things in squat or doing things up on the bar, isolating muscles. When you like work each muscle group, you walk out and you feel so like a whole body pump has like refreshed you. And it doesn't exhaust you. It like refreshes you.
Well, exercise should give you energy, especially like exercise, unless you're an athlete and you really have to go out to like do something really specific to train yourself in general. And when you exercise, you have more energy. And like the weights we use are really light weights, but it's a lot of high repetition. So it focuses more on toning and strengthening the muscle near the bone versus like creating bulkier muscle. And one of the things that's like amazing about the Dailey method is its accessibility to everyone. I mean, I have clients that are 17 and I have clients that are 80.
I know
85.
Lindy, I learned about Jill, I think through Lindy.
I think so.
Yeah, who is a doctor that I worked with, and she's maybe 20 years older than me. Lindy, is that right? Yeah. And she always did the Dailey method, and she would just, she's aged so brilliantly. She's this tiny petite person on this body that could be at serious risk for osteoporosis. And instead she's like kept this real muscle integrity and her bone health. Her posture is so good. I think it really helped her work doing a very intense pediatric practice through her 60s. And she really credits you and just using a workout like the Dailey method for aging, that it's just accessible. And you've created it like, yeah, you have hour-long classes in the studio, but you have a whole online program that is where you have shorter workouts and shorter time frames. My favorite is her 45-minute interval class, because it's a little faster, and you can get away with a little more, like not being so perfect with the alignment, but it's still an alignment practice, but it's a little more dancey.
Yeah. No, but that is a really nice, the online platform is nice because you really can take a class anytime, anywhere you are, in any length of time, any different format. So it's like we have our regular barre, we have our gentle, which is geared towards people coming back to fitness or that are a little bit older. We have 20-minute things. I recently did one when I was with my mom. I mean, this is talk about stress. So my mom's having some health issues, and I went to visit her, and like all day long I'm in our house, like trying to like manage her healthcare and manage my job. And I would just get off my computer and I did this 15-minute workout that I actually did put up online. Just did a 15-minute workout that like, okay, I'm done. Like that didn't take very long. It was that break between like this call and this call. And it just, it kept me completely, no, I shouldn't say completely sane, but it kept me saner than I would have been if I had not done that. And it gave me much more patience with my mother.
It's the release valve.
Mm-hmm. I just told someone actually to do a 10-minute stretch before bed every day. Like I just had this conversation because she's not sleeping so well. So this is one of the things that we miss a lot on sleep, right? If you're not getting a super restful sleep, your body's not tired enough. So just a 10-minute stretch, it's so easy to do. It's just like getting in the routine of it, right?
Yeah. And you can stretch in bed. I like that release valve, Hillary.
Yeah.
Release valve. Yeah.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've been in health and wellness and fitness for a long time now. And so
we don't need to count the years.
Okay. So can you give us, like, outside of exercise and strength, which is really important, a couple other tips that you found have really helped you or your clients, your body, some health practices that you've learned along the way that are
Yes,
important to you?
for sure. I mean, I'll tell you my one biggest thing is my lemon water in the morning. Like it is like it's that ritual, but I feel like I always started my day really well hydrated. I mean, I do lemon, the turmeric tincture, cayenne and cinnamon just like sprinkled in there. And that's, I know like you have the whole brewing thing that you make, but it's like I just do this every morning and I put it in this. That's what I'm drinking right now. And I know that I've started my day with this much liquid, and that's what I do before I eat or before I do anything else. Generally meditate most mornings. I try to set my alarm for 15 minutes before I actually have to get up. And it's either a guided meditation through Insight Timer, or just I have a meditation that I do myself that I just put a timer on and do 10 minutes. And it is extremely useful for me in starting my day versus the days that I don't do that. And I grab my phone and start checking my email or start texting people before I'm like even out of bed, like just to have that time to wake up with mindfulness. I do move my body every day, and I don't take class every day. I mean, I do teach, so that's something, but even if it's, I have one enormous dog and oftentimes two enormous dogs in my house. So yes, I have to get out, take them out. But hiking, just walking to the grocery store instead of driving my car, like something to get out and move my body. Especially for me, that helps a lot later in the day, because later in the day, I'm somebody that would not normally take a class in the afternoon because I do get tired. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. I have to go do something quick. I'm going to go. Fortunately, I live in a place that I can do that, but like, I'm going to go walk down there versus drive down there and just be outside.
So tell us, like, you created a program that's new for Dailey Method about helping women pre and post natally.
Yeah.
So can you explain a little bit about that, or what?
Sure. So we've always had pregnant clients in our regular classes, and I did the Dailey Method through all three of my pregnancies. All three of my kids grew up with the Dailey Method because we had
Right?
childcare at the time. Yeah. And so, but that was a long time ago. But so, I just decided to do a program. I had a few pregnant women at the time where you can do a Dailey Method class and you can do the entire class, but there are a few things that you need modifications for. And I know a lot of women when they're pregnant, like they're very, of course, they really, really want to make sure that they're moving their body right and they're not going to do anything that's going to hurt them or hurt the baby. And so it's a program where there's three full length hour classes, and each of them are 100% safe for pregnant women. And those classes kind of define the modifications that you might need. Like there's an abdominal exercise that we give you a ball to support your upper back. So, we talk about the peaking that you get in your abdominal wall, that you want to make sure that you're keeping that smooth so people know what they're looking for and what they're supposed to be feeling. And then in addition to this, it has like a video and a photo library of all the different modifications that you would need. And this is not just, it is for the Dailey Method, but a lot of these exercises are things that you would be doing in any type of modality that you are practicing. And so it just gives you ideas of how to support your body in these different positions while you're pregnant, ways to like back off a little bit so that you feel safe and you can still continue to get strong, continue to strengthen your pelvic floor and do all those great things for your body, but not have that worry that, maybe you're not doing something right. Kind of help them take care of themselves.
And I think it's so important postnatally, like after women have babies, when their bodies really feel pre-blown out, like it's like quite a thing.
It is quite a thing.
It's quite a thing we do, like the whole baby. Jill and I both had 3 kids. Kara's had 2. Like this whole like growing and expanding. Then you have it. I had 2 C-sections. You're like cut from hip to hip, essentially, pried open, and then you're just supposed to like be back at it, with like
that's how you felt. Like you're like, okay, well, it's fine. I can go through this while I'm pregnant. But then once I'm done, I have the baby, I'm just going to get back into my regime. And you go back. I didn't have C-sections. Like that's an even longer recovery. But like it took me like a good 5 months of where I actually had to do a lot of the modifications that I did when I was pregnant afterwards to support my body. Like I could not just go and take a regular class. Like 9 months to get there, you need to give yourself some grace and space to know that it's going to take at least half that amount of time to get back.
I mean, I say 9 months on, 9 months off, really, like as a doctor. But and because also postnatally, you have these breasts to contend with that if you're breastfeeding that you've never had, and it's like crazy. It changes the dynamic of your body. And then this is shrinking. A lot of people have a diastasis recti, that like their abdominal wall's been split open a little bit, and it's really important to support your abdominal wall. Many women will have like that hyperlordosis, right? They've gone so far forward sometimes that then they have to like pull back and get strong again in their pelvis. It's a really it's such a sensitive time for building your body back so that you can go again, like, and it's just really important to do it with somebody. I get nervous when I have patients who are doing really hard workouts postnatally and throwing themselves around like I keep saying CrossFit, but where there's more of a higher risk of injury when your tissues. Also, the progesterone gives you so much laxity in your pregnancy. You have a lot more laxity than you're used to in your joints, and you want to be really careful. You're a little bit hypermobile, and that can happen kind of even postpartum, like the pulling back together so that you don't overstretch. Anyway.
Yeah, there's a big inflammation component postpartum. Your immune system's totally shifting. So the exercise thing, that's nice that you share that because you're obviously in incredible shape. You teach these classes. But it's good that you share that because I think it's a point of frustration of I'm a runner, I'm an athlete. I used to be able to do this and now I can't do it. But there is a bit of a inflammation that we have to deal with in the months after giving birth. And that's that tricky period where I think injury happens more easily.
So if you are new to the Dailey Method, it's so worth going on and exploring and figuring out how to do classes. If you're in the Bay Area with us, Jill has studios in Fairfax, California, which is our little hometown, and Larkspur, California, which is her new studio.
We have a few around the Bay Area.
A few around the Bay Area. Yeah. So if you're here, come get a class. But like one of the silver linings of the pandemic, and I know there weren't that many in the fitness industry, but that like you have an online platform and people from all over the world can access your expertise and training. It's not just for Bay Area ladies. So you can go on and take a class. And I think what I always tell my patients when I prescribe the Dailey Method for them is that you have to give it at least 3 to 5 classes to feel what's happening in the body. It's learning a new language. If you weren't a dancer, it just takes a little while to understand. And I remember when I first started and I had a significant dance background, there were a couple things where I was like, I don't really like feel it. Like the C curve stuff. Like I couldn't feel. It took a couple classes to be like, oh, now I see, and Jill really can come and help. And even online, there's so many great cues. You can get a lot online, but give it a few times with any kind of new program. You want to do it a few times before you see if that's the right thing for you. But
you have to understand it's a practice. And we do have like a few that are like barre 101, basics 101s that I kind of recommend for people for their first classes because it does break down the vocabulary and breaks it down a little bit slower to help you, understand at a quicker speed. But yeah, I mean, it's a practice for sure.
And you can also, they have it set up so that you can live stream so that a teacher's actually watching you. You're in an active class, or you can watch recorded videos. So however it works the best for you. Right?
Well, if you go to the dailymethod.com and you go to our online platform, that's going to be, there are live classes, but I can't interact with you. There's a couple live classes a week, but then there's a huge library of all the different classes and formats. But if you go like to specifically on Mind Body, like the Fairfax studio or the Larkspur studio, you can sign up for live stream classes where you can, you'll be on Zoom and I'll be teaching and I'll be able to see you. And give you adjustments if you keep your camera on.
Which I highly recommend for people,
Yes.
because being in community is another thing that women need from all these stages in our lives, from baby making to postnatally to as we age and grow. Being in community is like what we need. We need circles of women. We need to watch different bodies in space, and it gives us body awareness and forgiveness. The more beautiful bodies we see, and we see how each one is so different. I feel like being in a community of women exercising is like you just get a real sense that like we're all like in movement together, moving through a lot of cycles and circles. And like in your classes, there's always this beautiful community of older women, younger women, and you just get this sense of like we're all doing a lot and going through a lot. And I always walk out feeling like, okay, I'm doing well, versus sometimes if I'm like just on a Peloton or something by myself, it's easier for me to be more competitive with myself, or like catch myself in competition or negative self-talk. Like it's me against me with the teacher, or you know what I mean? It's just a different thing than when I'm like, look at this beautiful woman over here and all she's been through. And then like this one just had a baby, and that one's 70 years old, like crushing it on like hanging and planking for minutes, at a time. Anyway. So
yeah, it is a big thing though for anti-aging. What we're talking about, all the muscle research is supporting, like having some kind of resistance on our muscles, etc., where we're doing ourselves a lot of good. And anyone who does a sort of a ballet method or a Lottie Burke kind of like rooted method, those women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, I don't know any in their 80s, but those women look good. They are strong. They walk really well. You know what I'm saying? They look strong, and they're not there's nothing soft going on there. They're a good structure. So I feel like, if you're going to age, this is a really good system, one of these systems.
Oh my gosh. Okay. The next time this one has her booty out here, we'll be in class with you, Jill.
Awesome.
All right. Okay. We're booking that today. Thank you so much, Jill. I always like to hear what you say. I always learn something from it.
Thank you. Nice
Thanks,
to see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.